crash and burn. It's for time. 100 Calorie BikeErg, 100 total bar, 100 dumbbell box step-ups, 50 pounds for males to a 24-inch box, 35 pounds for females to a 20-inch box. And finally, 100 vertical jumps to 15/12 inches above your highest reach.
I was going to say, it doesn't seem like very many for you.
3, 2, 1, go.
And we're off. Super exciting, 100 cals on the bike.
You have your fancy shirt on.
Everybody was hating on that shirt.
I don't hate it, it's just not your usual vibe, I guess.
No.
So
Teal and pink tie-dye is not my normal go-to.
No, not at all.
At least we get to see paces, that'll be helpful. So I do speed it up and chop out some rest periods and stuff like that. It's only like 12 minutes total here.
Okay.
So yeah, first things first, this was inspired by J.R. Howell of CrossFit Crash. They've done a regional style 100's chipper at Crash Crucible, and then they also recently did it at Syndicate Crown, 2 different versions, which a very similar structure where it was 4 movements, each 100 reps, and it's just like a long, grindy workout. Like endurance test, but like all CrossFit type movements where you're gonna have to break and be strategic about it. So that's something that I feel like in the last 2 to 3 years prior to this, I really kind of shied away from maybe a little too often. It was like the long time domain with just a lot of CrossFit movements, just because people tend to get beat up from doing it, especially if they're not used to it. So something that I've slowly been reintroducing to people over time. So that's kind of where that came from.
Where do you keep the damper at when you're on there? I don't have, like, I ride this sometimes for stuff that you write for me, but I don't feel like I have enough exposure to know.
Yeah, and
where it's
BikeErg's
good.
probably one of the ones that people probably have a little bit less experience of, just because it's probably not as common to see in like a class environment or even like in a workout for individual design. So generally, actually, like the conversation I had with Michael Fitzgerald of OPT would be a good one to listen to podcast-wise if people want to go really in-depth on that. But I would probably recommend, somewhere in the middle, kind of like the rower. Ideally, depending on how hard you're working, from maybe 70 to 85 up to 90 RPMs. Just kind of depends what you're comfortable with. It's kind of like the rower. Like there's a sweet spot where it's like if you are really too high, it feels like you're pulling through mud. It's kind of the same thing here. Like you don't want to be down in the 60s if you're at a really aggressive pace. So
I never know if it's better to pedal faster and be comfortable or go a little, I don't know. I can never really find a good place to have a damper.
And that's the thing is like, at a certain point, it feels like you're turning over too fast, and it's just like, there's just like not enough tension. It just feels like you're being almost like frantic with it.
And not doing anything.
Yeah. And oftentimes above 90 for CrossFit athletes feels that way, I would say. So.
Do you do sets of 10 the whole time?
I do. I don't know if I would actually do that if I was racing this, but it was just kind of like an easy way for me to keep track of my reps when I was doing it.
I was going to say, it doesn't seem like very many for you.
No, but it's 100.
It is 100.
And it's the second part of the workout of the whole thing.
So for most of your athletes, what do you suggest for 100 toes to bar?
Yeah, well, first of all, I guess not all of them are going to be doing 100. So I'd kind of alluded to this before, but some people are going to see 75, some people are going to see 50 reps, depending on their ability levels. So I would call the version I'm doing the 100's level 1, then level 2 would be 75 of each movement, level 3 would be 50 of each movement. And really, I want people to be able to get to all 4 movements, which is why, like, I want to keep the time cap in place of the 25 and 27 minutes for males and females. The reason the females is extended is because the BikeErg calories aren't scaled. And I think for a lot of people, I just want to be able to get them to all 4 movements, where if they were just came to like, doing singles on toe to bar, that would just mean that they don't even get to the vertical jumps. And I want everybody to be able to get to all the movements. So And also some people just like in the place where 100 toe to bar just like isn't a big deal for them.
Right.
Like W, when he does this, he'll be doing like sets of 15 or 20 the whole time and just flying through. Whereas like, most people aren't in that boat. Yeah, good for him. To be young and light again.
Sure.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's like the biggest thing is like that plus like, okay, this is the second lap of the mile run, if you will, right? In the sense that it's like, this is movement 204. So like, you said that Michael Melendez when he was here, he's like, I'm not gonna blow my load early. I was like, okay, Michael. So don't blow like your load early.
Okay. Oh, Michael.
Yeah, so let's see here when I drop down where I'm at. And then how long my rests are. So 9, 18. Let's see when I start back up. Don't watch me chalking the floor.
Shame.
Oh, I think I leave this full rest period in. So this will be a good one for us to be able to tell how long I'm actually resting.
Yeah, that seems like a long time for you. What is that, 20 seconds?
More.
I thought I got done in 18.
Oh yeah, so it was what, 30? No,
That's 30.
like 20, 25 seconds or something. Yeah, so yeah, so like a good healthy rest break, to be honest. I don't know, it's almost like, and I've debated back and forth with this about a lot of athletes too, like do you take more sets and less rest? And I think generally that's like the way to go. Like I could have easily done 5s on a 10-second rest clock and probably actually made up some time on this.
Well, do you think this is probably the movement that's you're gonna need? You'll probably take more breaks.
Yeah, this is your break.
Yeah.
Because everything else is just like, you can keep moving, it's just whether you want to or not.
Yeah. You're not gonna fail the other ones necessarily, but these, yeah.
No, yeah, exactly.
And your time cap is 25 minutes?
Yeah, males is 25, females is 27. There you go, 11:30 roughly to get through the first 2. Spoiler, it's a little slower on the back half. Mainly because of these bad boys.
So glad it's only 1 dumbbell though.
Oh, it would be...
When it's 2, it crushes my soul.
Yeah. So it would just be a completely different approach if it was 2 dumbbells. Because
Yeah.
it would, obviously it's going to slow you down a lot. It's more than double as hard to do 2 dumbbells. So it's, you might be doing sets of 10 with a rest in between each one. Whereas this, especially when it's on the shoulder, well, you'll see, I just hold on the whole time. I will say my traps were sore the next day.
I
from
bet.
this. From just like, because with this hand up here too, you kind of shrug that shoulder up
Yeah.
just a tiny bit. And it's enough that like my traps were just, even if it's 10, 20%, they're engaged the whole time and it started to get annoying. Plus your head's kind of forwarded just a little bit.
So you never put the dumbbell down?
No. I was like, I really want people just to be able to kind of like slog through these. I hope that someone will at least be able to do that. And I was like, if I have to get to the point where I'm at 30 and I have to take a break already, it's going to be like a real grind for some people.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a grind either way, but like I definitely felt like putting it down. But honestly, when I did the open workout with this variation, I remember that I held it on like the shoulder with like one side.
That always kills. I don't know how. I feel like this is the way to go. Like,
This is 100% the way to
I've
go.
never been able to get it positioned properly.
It's like doing a sandbag squat because you're slightly tilted to one side the whole time.
Yeah.
And especially with like a step up, you do have to kind of shift your weight over that one leg. I think maybe it feels like, even a squat though, because you'd be tilting your torso forward.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what variation you'd be doing that on the shoulder with, like traditionally, like parallel with your body would be a helpful thing. The other way, I don't know what that is, perpendicular. Anyway.
I can't believe you never put it down.
Yeah, so I didn't put it down, and what did I say, 11:30 to finish the toe to bar, and we're still getting into it here. Yeah, so again, I was just kind of looking for a movement where people could continue to move through the whole time. Like something like a box step up, like the toe to bar is sort of the movement where you broke at, and I wanted the third one to just kind of be a movement where you just kind of keep moving through the whole time.
So somebody who doesn't have the capability to do it unbroken, how many times do you think is like the ultimate maximum? Like to put it down? Once?
I mean,
twice?
I would say
Where
if
is
you're
it?
breaking more than every 20, you're probably just being a little soft.
It's a lot of reps.
Yeah. I mean, it also, like, you could put it down every 20 for 10 seconds, pick it back up, and, like, do a faster cadence than I was doing, and you'll be probably similar time.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, my reps are pretty slow. Like, it was very methodical. And that's the other thing is, like, obviously there's that whole, like, scandal with the step up deal in quarterfinals. And it was like, hey, it was 2 dumbbells to a shorter box, but then it was like the format was what encouraged people to go so fast to kind of almost like cheat the standard, or just like ride the line a little bit closer. Whereas,
and they were not standing all the way up.
Right. Yeah. Whereas like this, especially with it, just like the format, like with it being so many reps and it just like you're moving through pretty slowly, that it's really pretty easy. It would be easy to like no rep people if it was in a competition, and then also it's just like based on design of the workout, it's a little bit more encouraged to stand up all the way. So now we're on to the vertical jumps. So it's 15 inches above your highest reach. So if you're standing there with arms straight over your head, 15 inches for guys, 12 inches for ladies. That always sounds like a lot, and these did start to add up.
Is that the same standard that we had for the bench press, shuttle run, handstand push-up?
Yes, but this time to a bar, not the wall.
Okay.
Yeah, because that time it was taped on the wall.
That was high.
That was very high.
That's really high.
And so this is like, I think like 3-4 inches lower than that, which obviously like that'll make a difference. But like it's similar to like a rope climb where it's like a 12-foot rope climb versus a 15-foot rope climb is like such a big difference.
Sure.
Because like the first however many inches, how many feet in that case, is your height on the ground. Whereas like here, similarly, it's like you're standing up, like by the time you get to the top tippy toes, it's like you're already like 4 inches higher than you were.
A quarter of the way there.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So in that way, it's similar. I don't know if anybody followed that logic, but
I got it, but
Yeah.
it still seems high.
Again, we're gonna go from your feet on the floor to both hands touching the bar as the standard. And honestly, for me, I ended up looking out in front, like the final like 10 reps, and that made it so much easier versus like looking up at the bar every time I touched it. It was a huge help.
Yeah, I guess if you get a good feel for where it's at, I mean, why look for it?
Yep. So that kind of saved my neck the last 10 reps when I finally figured it out.
The last 10.
Yeah. Sweet.
But yeah, it felt like a good long grindy chipper with CrossFit movements, the kind of stuff you would see in a qualifier with a twist at the end. The good thing about the dumbbell box step up is that with it being 100 reps, you are not cycling it fast enough, or that's the separator anyway, really, to a meaningful degree anyway, where you're gonna just lock out your hips at the top, and it would be very easy to enforce if that sort of thing came out, which is one of the things I like about this. So yeah, it's gonna be a long, it honestly kind of reminded me of Karen Gets Around with a little bit of a different feel to it, in terms of just like, you're doing a lot of those, mixed contractions, and it's just a long time domain. So it gets grindy, and you just gotta keep being methodical and working to stay like right under that red line threshold the whole time, which it's really easy to be undisciplined on either side of that, where you don't push up against that because you're scared of the workout. Obviously it's easy to underpace it and just go out too fast and pay for it in the later parts. So really, I think one of the big separators, besides just like obviously total bar are gonna be a large separator, is just the step up is kind of brutal. Just more of a mental grind than anything else, because like physically I was okay. It was obviously uncomfortable for the whole time, but it was manageable. So it was just a matter of convincing myself not to put the dumbbell down and just kind of keep moving through the reps, kind of shut off your brain the best you can and just keep moving. So it's a good workout, effective fitness.